So, welcome everyone to the second chapter of the Ignis illustration at the lab. So, now and at this point of the image, we're making it's more about the details. It starts always try to start from the everything, start from the bigger shapes and then go smaller and smaller, and bit by bit you will get to the tiniest details, and you will get what's most important, so you don't spend most of your time doing something that it's not important for the image. So always try to go for the bigger shapes, as you see in this example of this Ignis illustration. You see how we're working from bigger shapes to smaller shapes. Then we're starting to work on the details, to work on lights, to work on how the materials change. If something's shiny or if something it's not. So we started to think about those details, but first, so you don't get lost, and start by making the bigger shapes, and then go like for the smaller parts, like John Burton would say, the great landscape painter John Burton says, like, go for the big continents, and then go for the countries, and then go for the towns, and then go for the houses, and so on and so on. But never start, if you're making the world, don't start making just a city or a town, start with the big continents. So in this case, we're showing this as an example of how to make those concepts work. So here we're using some photographs. You might see sometimes we use some references. And the most important here is like the narrative. So what are we trying to say with our image? So that's like the main thing I try to keep thinking about, like, all the time when I'm illustrating something. So what's the point? Like, we feel the excitement of being inside a laboratory. So there's like this shapes, like pointing at Ignis, so we can see her, like she's the center. So we're pointing with even perspective and everything. It's telling us to watch her. And then we started to make like the feeling of the light in the space. And when we started to do that, the most important thing was to keep the shapes, the important shapes, and the readability of the image. So here the point, we were trying to make it work in terms of readability. So we keep this balance in both things, trying to think about the general and how to make those details work for your composition, to make every detail about her, because she's the main character and the most important aspect in the illustration. So here, as you can see, we have like more detailed version of the same image. So it's more subtle. You wouldn't see as much changes like in the first one, but these small changes, start to give life to it. So if you like this, you can subscribe to our channel, to Grayscale Studios channel, and we'll go with another chapter. So happy to have you here, and welcome everyone.